Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I've got your first gameplay and overview straight from the 9th Wave dev server for the F-16C. This will be the new top F-16 in the American air tech tree and represents the first brand new Rank 9 aircraft for America. Now that being said, this vehicle is the Block 52 variant, whereas the current F-16C that we have in War Thunder is the Block 50 variant. You might be wondering, well, what's the big difference? Well, there's actually quite a few big differences between these two aircraft outside of just the BR, being that this is 14.3 and the Block 50 is 13.7. Now, this vehicle, first and foremost, has access to AIM-120Ds, as opposed to the AIM-120As that the earlier F-16C has, and these have, even over the C5s, a 30-second better missile guidance time, which means that these should be able to be fired from longer ranges and successfully hit their targets, which is made easier by the fact that this has now an AESA radar with a really nice range, 160 kilometers, as opposed to the older ANAPG-68 with just 85 kilometers of range. Also, again, that only had AIM-120As, so big differences here. Now, additionally, it doesn't really look like it currently in the dev server. Bear in mind, literally everything is subject to change in the dev server. Anything can change up to and even beyond the release of the major update, but this is the F100 PW229 engine, and it only has 10,860 kgf, whereas the F-16C Block 50 has the FW110 GE129 engine with 11,480. Now, this shows that it has a lower rate of climb than the Block 52, so I'm not entirely sure if this is accurate, if this is supposed to be a weaker engine here on the Block 52. I don't believe it is. Again, that should be subject to change up to, whatever, yada yada yada, beyond the release. Now, otherwise, this has 60 regular countermeasures and 30 large caliber countermeasures, which is pretty cool. Although in total it is fewer countermeasures than what you have on the Block 50. You do have more effective large caliber countermeasures, so in some ways it kind of evens out, not entirely, but in some ways. Otherwise, pretty similar aircraft when it comes to anti-ground capability. Nothing all too different, although this does have access to the eGBUs, whereas this just has access to the GBUs. So still nothing all too incredibly different, but still a big enough deal, especially when it comes to anti-air, that this is going to be a big upgrade over the Block 50. Now that said, let's get into a match or two, see how this thing performs, and get into it. Also, I've been playing a lot of Diablo 2 recently, so I have not been playing much air battle, so hopefully I do pretty well. That said, let's get into it. Now, overall, the performance on this aircraft does seem to actually be pretty good. It does seem to be a touch better than what we have on the Block 50. Which again kind of lends credence to the theory that the 229 should be a little bit more powerful of an engine compared to what we have on the Block 50, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, it doesn't look like the cockpit is loaded in or has been completed yet, unfortunately, so we won't be able to see that as of yet, but I'm assuming it might be, hopefully it might be a little bit more of an advanced cockpit than previous. So I'm just going to keep on with the afterburner. Fuel consumption isn't terrible, well, considering it's an afterburner. I've not locked on to anyone yet. Let's go ahead and just switch to TWS real quick. Also, one other thing, you can actually zoom in, a hell of a lot. I'm just using my mouse wheel to zoom in here. You can zoom in a lot in order to kind of see more or less exactly where things are supposed to be. Now, that is a rocket. I'm not going to focus on, not really a rocket, I mean to say, but rather a an AAM, air-to-air missile. So I'm going to fire on this multi-jet here. Hopefully, this allows me to be able to actually fire on him. I'm going to dive down real quick, fire on one more time. So my thought is, okay, that was not a good one. Oh, I'm going to die. I didn't die. My thought is that I should be able to actually hit these guys from a longer range with these missiles, at least in theory. So we're going to probably fire one more. Bear in mind, this is the dev server, so I'm going to be firing. I'm going to be up against a lot of bots. There's 4 bots right now in this match. This guy that I'm firing against is not a bot. But let's see if we can actually hit him. I'm getting kind of close. Okay. Might have to fire one more. Yeah, I'm going to have to fire another. But I am gaining on him. I am really gaining on him. Holy crud, this thing has good performance. So we're going to wait until we're within, like, 7 kilometers. Also, I think he's going a little bit perpendicular to me. Unintentionally. This should be able to get the kill. J-15. And it's turning. Got the kill. Very nice. So I had to use up 4 missiles on him, but really I don't think that was the missile's fault. But bear in mind, I mean, also, these don't necessarily have the greatest maneuverability. I mean, there's a lot of, I'm not going to say, like, imperfections with these missiles, but they aren't perfect missiles by any means. They just, in theory, have better range than what we had with the other, you know, the C5s, for example, and more so the A's. Some things to note thus far about this aircraft that I'm really liking. Performance does seem to be a bit better than what the I guess the stat on the engine, like when you go into X-ray mode, actually shows. This is an incredibly fast aircraft. Second, the radar is really nice. I mean, this thing it's just like instant lock on everything. It's a really, really nice radar. And third, I mean, the AIM-120Ds are good, and they are certainly a little bit better than the C5s, but in most practical cases, I don't really know if most people are going to be able to, like, get much, like, of what... Like, they're not going to get as much worth out of them as they might expect, right? So, I think most... Like, even though they can lock and in theory, guide at a longer range, like, in this case, I'm doing, like, 45 kilometers, which is typically a little bit longer than what I like to do, but... You know, I just don't really feel like most people are going to be getting hits on the ranges that these things are, again, in theory, a little bit better at or, like, capable of doing. So it's not so much, it's not like you know, a slight on the missile itself. It's still a fantastic missile, but I just don't really know if people are going to be using them or getting as much use out of them or I guess success out of them at the ranges in which these things are now a little bit more optimized for. So, we're going to go ahead and hopefully use our allies as cannon fodder here. Maybe shoot down this missile out of the sky. This is bad. Let's go ahead and keep on kind of scoping out enemies here. Hopefully that just flies right over me. Okay, SU-27. He is well within my range. Fire on him. Turn away. Fly away. I shot down a missile. That's good. And we're going to turn over a little. Hopefully I don't get killed. Fire one on this guy. Oh, good. We have ourselves the kill versus an MKM. Not bad. First strike against an actual plane. Okay, I'm going to go fire on this guy in a second. One more shot. You know what? I think I'm actually going to get the kill anyways. So, should I even fire another one? I'm not sure. We got the kill. Very nice. Didn't want to waste my shot there. And I've got 2 kills. So, I mean, like, thus far, I'll say this. I think the radar is very nice. It's way better than what it had been previously, like on the Block 50 model. And I feel like the missiles are definitely a little bit of an improvement. They're not like a huge improvement over previous, at least from what I could tell. It doesn't seem like they are. But they are certainly a little bit of an improvement, which is nice. So we're going to hopefully not get shot down here by this aircraft. Oh, we have ourselves J-10 right there. Fire on him. And we have ourselves the kill. Very nice. But we are low on fuel. So we have ourselves, I think, 3 kills against enemy players with this. So I feel like the Block 52 is going to be a really good aircraft. Is it going to be the best? No. And I think the main reason behind that, it's not its performance. It's not the missiles. It's definitely not the radar. It's not the type of missiles. Rather, it's the amount of missiles. It just doesn't have the missile carrying capability of some of the higher BR aircraft from other nations. Heck, even within its own tech tree, the F-15 Golden Eagle is going to be able to carry, what, like 10 of these, I think, or 12? So, you know, this is going to be a fairly limited engagement aircraft, but I feel like it's going to be a really good aircraft. Like, you're probably going to be more efficient with these missiles than you're going to be with a lot of other aircraft. And what I mean by that specifically is that you're probably going to be able to get more kills, like a higher kill to missile fired ratio with this aircraft than you will with most other aircraft and their BVR missiles. So we'll have to wait and see what actually plays out in the real game, but I think I just killed 3 actual players. They weren't bots, they were actual players, and it was really easy. So that said, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I figured, you know what, 2 matches probably going to be enough for most people, and I think I only killed players in this gameplay, but either way, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you all on the other side. Also, let me know what other vehicles you might want to see from the dev server, because honestly, it's a little bit dry, this dev server. Like, the major update really doesn't have, like, a lot of groundbreaking stuff in it, unfortunately. So I might do, like, the J-15, but, again, we'll have to wait and see. So that said, thanks again, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.